Good morning, everybody. I'm Tlish, and you're watching Coffee and Clicks. Um, I just wanted to thank everybody that's viewing on YouTube, at home, or wherever you are viewing Coffee and Clicks and tuning in every so often. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content and enjoy today's episode of Coffee and Clicks. Hi, I'm Tlish, and you're watching Coffee and Clicks. Today we're joined with the Powells, Sam and Dan Powell. Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Doing wonderful.
So, for this interview, I wanted to just ask. Well, first of all, all the viewers at home, don't forget to subscribe and like if you enjoy my content. It really helps us out. I wanted to ask you guys, how did you both get into Heroclix? And can you also just, I like to give my guests time to brag. So, talk about a little bit about your accomplishments, if you can, and how you first got into the game.
Sure. So we could just hop right in. So actually, it's May still, right? Yeah. So this would be 6 years that I've been playing. So we do a lot of collectibles. I'm a collector at heart. So I mean, a lot of folks that know the click stuff know that we play competitive a lot. But a lot of folks may not realize that we're collectors. So I got into the game because I collect Iron Man figures. So we would go to flea markets and bargain bins and stuff, and we would see little Iron Man figures. And I said, honey, we don't need these. It's a game. Once you get in on the game, you're in. Like I know me, and as soon as we get these, I want to learn how to play the game. And she's like, well, go ahead and get a couple. Well, I got a couple. I had a buddy teach me how to play. That was May of 2014, and then early 2015, I played my first competitive event, and then skip a bunch of stuff in the middle. I'm a two-time world champion with The Rock, and won a bunch of events.
And then Dale learned how to play, and then it was about, I don't know, 6 months after he learned that he got me into it, and I just kind of played casually for a little bit, and I saw that he was going to Clicks on Thursdays, and he was like, hey, I found a really cool group of guys, and so he was like, I really want you to meet him. So I went one night, and I was like, okay, this is actually pretty fun. So I kind of just got sucked into the vortex of the meta because Daniel was playing more, and he needed someone to practice with. So I kind of had to be the practice buddy, and that kind of got me the itch. So I played my first competitive event. The batteries were still around. I think it was.
Yeah, you played the first WKO in.
March.
I want to say it was 20. Yeah, no, like April of 2016 was your first competitive event.
Yeah.
Because I played all of 2015. You played casually, and
Yeah.
then 2016 April you
Yeah.
played, and then we went to Little Rock that May.
Yep.
And played in that super qualifier too.
So I kind of got my feet wet. I actually won my first super qualifier in Tennessee. That was exciting because I was the first female to win a rock event. So that was awesome. And since then, I've won WKO, I've won a regional, I've won a qualifier and stuff like that. So, but recently I haven't had to do anything. So.
Yeah, we had our son Theo, who you might hear in the background, will be a year in about a week and a half. So
I have to take a back burner.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's how we got into it. Now we're just sucked in.
He's learning how to roll dice, so.
Yeah. So, do you guys play at home a lot with each other. Then I guess you bounce ideas off each other and practice and stuff like that. Like, do you play casual at home too, or just?
We'll get our itch and we'll play a couple casual games, but
Well, sometimes we'll do sealed at home as a,
yeah.
you know, if there's no movie out or, and of course pre-Rona, right? We've played a lot of clicks at home since Rona, but you know, we would go get a few boosters and do sealed at home ourselves. And
before tournaments, we really lock down and we get like 3 or 4 meta teams out, and we call it run it through the gauntlet. So Daniel will have his team, I'll play my team, but then we'll kind of talk like, okay, if we played your team against this team, how does it fare? And so before Nats or Worlds or anything big, we really do bunker down for about 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, about 4 to 6 weeks before.
And I would say it's about 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
We sit at the table.
If it's a big event like Nationals or Worlds, Sam doesn't have as much time as I do now with the kiddo, but I typically try to put in about 20 to 30 hours a week of practice, 6 hours a week, 6 weeks before the big event.
Okay, yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, you got to practice. I mean, Dan, what was the team that you played? Because I played your team, the Starro, when I went to my first event in 2018, PAX Unplugged.
Yeah.
I played your team. I played your Starro team. What was that like? What was that for? That team?
That was Starro, Star Fox, Lockjaw, Groot.
Yeah.
Mjolnir and some IDs. That was my second Rock World Championship team. You know, I would say first of all, PAX Unplugged is an event that I don't talk about.
Okay.
I got sick that event. I don't know if you.
I actually remember that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That was not fun being 1,000 miles from home and in a hotel. We were up like 13, 14 stories in that hotel, and bad experience. But yeah, so Starro, Star Fox, Lockjaw, Groot. It was really a simple team. By the time PAX came around, Starro wasn't as new then, and everyone was able to get a Starro. WizKids has even fixed that now, that Starro wouldn't have been legal for PAX in the same situation in 2020, I don't think, because my Starro came from England at that point. But no, I love playing Starro. Mind control is such a great power. I'm a bit sad that Hellfire Club Gene and Jason Weingard just do it so much better now. It makes me kind of sad.
Yeah, because I think Starro's still a great piece.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's better options out there, I still like playing Starro. But is there like a build? I mean, for both of you, is there a build that you guys had in the past that you're like really proud of over the years?
So if I think about like the teams I won Worlds with, right, that was. Of course, I'm proud of those, right? But like, if you talk about like something I'm most proud of,
or that you like, just a build that you really like.
Yeah, I would say that more of those were a little bit more mechanical, right? Is that the pieces and parts were very specific. But the first time I did that was I've been playing Cosmic for a long time. So in 2016, mid 2016, I built a team that was Nick Fury with Ophidian, Power Ring with Ion, and then Phalanx Drone and the Orange Battery. So that was when the entities counted for theme. I don't know if you've read up on some of that stuff, but so they gave Cosmic, so it was +5 Cosmic, and I was able to abuse a map and some of the rulings at the time that was made it very hard to climb a mountain. Just think Galador Promenade. Are you familiar with that map that we have?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a map similar to that, to where you could just completely shut them off from being able to climb the mountain.
Oh, like go over elevated and stuff like that?
Yeah, go over elevated, go upstairs. Um, so then Nick was able to shoot over all of that.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So that was probably my first build that I was super excited about and did really well with.
It sucked to play against.
Yeah.
It was so
it was
bad.
not fun.
Sam, do you have a favorite build?
Well, I mean, my first build, I built. I remember running downstairs and I was like, Daniel, I think I found my team I want to play. I played the Yellow Battery with Nighthawk Prime and then Superman, Wonder Woman, Chase Wonder Woman. So it kind of was like high stats, but you couldn't increase yours, and then you were negative to your attack, and that was fun. But I think my overall, just like the build I had the most fun with in the recent years was the Hawkeye build. I know, it was very successful for me. It was very successful for a lot of people. But I remember just talking to Daniel and the teammates, and I was like, how can we do this better? How can we change things up? And we practiced so many variants of it. And it was just a overall fun team, because I'm one of those, I want to get out there and play the game. I'm not one to barrier and take 4 turns of passing, and I want to roll some dice. And if that means I die in 5 minutes, then I die in 5 minutes. So,
right.
Yeah, that was the...
No, Hawkeye is one of my favorite pieces. I love. I mean, it's a little bit. I don't know if it's like not fun to play against, but.
Well, and people kind of will say well, it's such an easy tune to play. Well, I don't think so. Just because you had to really think about your placement of Giant Girls, you had to think your placement of Eric Masterson, you had to think about your theme teams, because you didn't want to run a Hawkeye out and say, oh.
A couple of turns were pretty straightforward. Right, they were, pretty mechanical, but it was, what do you do after Hawkeye's out there? What do you do at that point to where you're able to do more with the build afterwards?
I loved watching, Dan would always watch me, and, I'd be like, well, I need a crit hit with a Giant Girl. I didn't even do anything. Well, let's just try it. I don't know how many times Dan would watch me.
Twice.
I would be like, let's just do a Colossal Retaliation. Let's whatever. Throw it down. Roll my dice and crit hit, and he'd be like, I don't know what you do.
Sam popped a full uni twice. On his last click, popped him with a crit hit Giant Girl, the Fast Forces Giant Girl retail. The one she's got 2 damage.
Yeah, she's got 2 damage. That's it. Yeah.
She's like, let's go, and she crit hits, and the guy she's playing it with is just like, what the heck? And he rolls his imperv, right? And then, I think once the crit hit happens, the guy's energy transfers to his imperv roll, and it just always just flops over as a 2. And he's busted, and he's like, I'm very sad right now. Yeah. But I watched it happen twice.
That was a fun build. I really enjoyed it.
No, I like the reason why I like Hawkeye, just playing. I play him even casually, even though he's a chase, because I always liked that version of Hawkeye in the comics, the Matt Fraction Hawkeye. So yeah. I really liked it. Dan, actually, one of your the team that I played you in the Heroes Throwdown, that's a really good team.
Yeah, the double Captain Marvels with the Chase Widow.
No, I'm talking about your team. The Earth X Cap with
Yeah, the Earth X Captain Marvel, Chase Thor, Rare Steve Rogers, bringing in Isaac as an Avenger, and then Ultra Chase Peggy on the sideline, and a bunch of trouble alerts.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that so your team that you were playing is 2 super rares and a hard to find chase right now.
Right.
And my team only requires 2 ultra chases. No big deal.
Yeah.
MVP.
Well, 2 ultra chases, a chase, and
you know what though?
And a Con LE and a bunch of other chases on the sideline.
That ultra chase Captain Marvel is really good. I never realized how good he is. I mean, because he wasn't seeing a lot of play when he first came out.
Well, so
there was too many ID cards with Pulse Wave.
Right. So when he comes back after 3 years and brings everyone back. So I had played against those, and Theo's making his appearance on the podcast. So whenever he would bring back after 3 years, I was always able to at least plan for a pulse wave call out. So when they come back, they can't be attacked, but they can be pulse wave.
Okay.
So now, not with being able to not just have that Storm ID ready or Banshee or whoever it is, it makes it a lot better. You can get that turn, and then you can go ham with them after that.
Yeah. So I mean, are you guys? So Sam, you're not in any of the. Have you been participating in any of the online tournaments or?
No, I've been kind of letting Daniel to kind of play along, and I've been keeping track. I've been watching some games. I've been actually talking to Daniel about some of the teams and stuff. Because I remember, like, with your Avengers team, like, you had that 75 to 80 points, and I was like, what about Thor? And he was like, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, so, Chase Thor is like super good at 75.
So I've been keeping track. I want to get back into it. I'm just kind of, I don't know. I don't know much of the new stuff, and I'm trying to catch back up. So
right.
I don't want to get out there and just be completely ignorant and don't know anything. But so we'll get there.
And Dan, have you been? What other online tournaments have you been participating in of these?
So I play a bunch of the Rock Online stuff. They were kind of the pioneers in the format, so it's been fun to play with. And then I've been doing the Heroes Throwdown, and then one of the stores down in I think it's Florida. They've been doing a Golden Age tournament, so I've been playing that one as well. That one's been pretty fun. It's a limited. I only like Golden Age as a competitive format if it's kind of super restrictive.
Yeah, no, I totally get that because I think Golden Age is tough because there's so many things to choose from, so many different weapons to choose from. You could kind of easily abuse it,
Right. Yeah, and my team's super. I mean, I'm playing Eternals in that format, so I'm playing Uni and Isaac and all kinds of super powerful pieces, even though it's a very limited format. So, no, I mean, the online stuff's been really fun. I attribute a lot of what I've been able to stay abreast of things and stay in good practice due to online. So I think the other part of your question is how do you compare online play to in-person play?
Yeah, how do you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, for just play, it's about the same, right? Tactic to tactics, it's the same thing, I would say. But for like a major event, like I think it takes a little bit more to do in person for a major event. Like these events have been really good that we've played online. We're getting ready to go into single elim for our Heroes Throwdown, and but if you go to Origins, you go to Gen Con, or you go to Memphis for Worlds, it's it's a long day, it's a mental prep, it's travel, it's having all your stuff together, it's being more organized. There's a lot more mental and physical prep that goes into playing a major in-person event than it does in an online event. So overall, right, if it's a major thing, I prefer the in-person way. But the online stuff has been fantastic for play and practice and keeping your skills sharp.
Yeah, no, I find I get a lot of practice online just because you can get a game whenever you want almost, so it helps you practice. Especially if you live far away from like your store or something like that, and you don't really, it's a little hard to find people to play against all the time. You can just do it online, and it makes it a lot easier. But I do find that I mean, like I don't know. Do you think the dice rolling is different, or? Or like even like catching things like mistakes that you wouldn't make in like.
I think there's two things. Like online play is fantastic, right? And then my teammate Tyler Spees would disagree with me on this one. We've talked about this. I think that there's a in-person element, on the map element. I don't know. You've seen the picture of like the old school generals moving their pieces on the war board with the big stick.
Right.
I think that there's advantage to putting your team on a map, visually changing that perspective. Online's very flat, very on your screen. In-person play is very 3D. So I think that's a difference. The dice thing I think is funny because we've seen some memes and that kind of thing about the Roll20 dice. They've been kind of funny. So I think there's two aspects to that, and no one wins in this situation. There's no way to truly program a truly random algorithm because you program it, so it's not random. And then two, dice are not made perfectly. Your whether they're the WizKids dice, the Rock dice, the Chessex dice, those things are not random made perfectly either. So I think you just got to deal with what you get when you get with the dice.
Yeah.
Everyone has their favorite pair of dice, right?
Right.
That's usually because they're made badly. They roll. If a dice rolls really well all the time, that's a bad pair of dice because they're not supposed to do that.
Right.
It's not the dice; it's the dice cup.
Yeah. Well, Sam uses a dice cup all the time.
I use a dice cup.
Rolls fantastically no matter what pair of dice.
Especially when I play Jason. I feel like Jason wants to burn my dice cup.
Yeah. Jason on our team hates her using the dice cup. He'll use the dice cup and then he'll roll badly with it. And it's like, it doesn't like you, Jason.
Doesn't like you. Are we talking online play versus in-person play?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd rather in-person play.
Yeah,
I'm an in-person play because, like, I trust people, but like, if I'm like, okay, if I can see it on the board, and I'm like, okay, I have 3 targets. That one's got a 17, that one's got a 19, that one's got a 21. I mean, obviously I can see before I make my decisions. Online, you can't see that. So it's one of those, like, you have to ask questions because you don't want to take 5 minutes looking up everything online. And it's one of those, like, are they telling me the truth or...
Yeah, it just takes longer.
Yeah, it's tough when you have to reference HC Realms and back and go back and forth too,
Yeah,
and then when you find an error on HC Realms and you play something wrong, that's bad. So that's happened to me in an event before.
So it's...
where Realms was just wrong, and they're like, well, I'm looking, and like later I played, I'm watching another game, and someone's like, well, the card says this, and I'm like, well, that's a problem because Realms is wrong.
Well, yeah, I think I was talking with some people about, like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a. I don't know if they fixed this on Realms, but at the time, the Chase Firestorm from Batman the Animated Series, right? They had it listed on Realms as 60 points instead of 80 points.
Oh wow!
And I was like, oh, this is like the best piece ever, double perplex, like 60 points.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use this piece, and I was gonna, but
I mean, I don't down the online play. I think it's great. I like to watch it a lot. It just takes, if you watch 2 people that play enough of it, like, their games are very interesting. But if you get someone that's new to it, and it's like it takes a while, and I'm just more of like an interactive person, like face to face, and I'm a true believer on the dice. Like, I'm like, okay, I need a 9, and I'm just like, let's go. Like, it's almost like you have to believe in your dice rather than hitting just a button on the computer.
yeah, no, I mean, because I've had people tell me, like, that the dice on Roll20, they're either high or low. There's no in between, and like,
yeah, there's really
like
no in between. It's either you're hitting crits or you're hitting 3s.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, it could just be random,
Yeah.
But I mean,
I don't know. It just is what it is. I think. If you roll enough dice, you'll see everything.
I think it's really good, though, that the online has gotten a lot of popularity just because now people are seeing more teams, and it's not like... And you can play against different people in different regions of the U.S. and also overseas, because you really didn't get that until you went to nationals. So you kind of heard about, the Texas the Texas meta, and then the California meta, and the Midwest meta, and the Northeast meta. Like, you kind of heard of all the metas, but now you kind of see it online, and you can see people interact more, and you're not so surprised at nationals. And
I mean, I agree with you. I think I think in-person play definitely there's like the the magic's there as far as like the feel of the pieces and everything. That's why the game was created. To have miniatures. It's not but and that's why I like Tabletop Simulator too. That because it seems more realistic and 3D a little bit. But even still, like I think the in-person play is just better for fun factor. But I think I definitely also agree that online play brings everybody together, and it makes it just easier.
Yeah, you're seeing more teams grow as more adapting to everything. Like you just don't see like the uni team, this team. You're seeing like 60 different teams, and you're like, wow, that's cool. I can take that and run with it.
Yeah.
So.
Do you guys have any up and coming like pieces that you're thinking about building around, or that you might want to share, teams that you have brewing, as far as post rotation?
I want to play Ultra Chase Thanos so bad.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest
really
one for me as well. But we need a little bit more. What I'm looking for on that team is a little bit more consistent, cosmic, mystical, or minions of Thanos barrier piece. Well, I shouldn't say that. They're a little bit more. I'm looking for a more consistent cosmic barrier piece, or something else besides Isaac that's good. That's minions of Thanos. So kind of holding out that Fantastic Four set brings us something between now and Worlds.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest one. I mean, I like the Avengers team that I've been playing. I think it's really good. I like it a lot. And that one was more specifically built just to be a well-balanced team to go try to fight Chase Widow.
Yeah.
So that was the big one for me. I mean, Chase Widow's really tough right now. I mean, she's the piece, right?
Yeah.
I think there's still some oomph or backbone to the Ultron,
The
Danger
robots,
Room, the Danger Room teams with Ultron. I think there's a lot of backbone to that still. I think that could do really well too.
How about Amazo, or do you think Amazo's totally canceled out?
Amazo's going to be great in Popper.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some Amazos are doing okay in our Heroes tournament. But man, Widow just blanks his dial.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can just take that risk. Like, let's just say Nationals was in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, if Origins was still a thing, and kind of we were leading up into that. I couldn't risk playing Amazo knowing Chase Widow was a thing.
Yeah. And with Thanos, with Ultra Chase Thanos, would you play the Copter? Or
No.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. I mean, the Copter, I think, was. I wish I would have seen more play, especially when like Hawkeye and stuff was played, because I think it was a good counter.
Yeah.
But then you had just some other strong, up and close to your face teams that.
Yeah, you had other teams that were just as good
Yeah.
without.
I just think that there was a time I think that it could have been good, but now it's not.
I wish it was good because it's a really good piece.
Yeah, it's good. But...
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, like, so as far as like events, I mean, we were talking about the current like, I mean, there's so many online events now. There's Gungai Cups, Comic Cult Classic, Heroes Throwdown. There's the Rock Online stuff. There's Majestics. But then also like in-person events are all being canceled. Like Gen Con. Gen Con was canceled and stuff. What do you think out of all the major in-person events? What would be your favorite of those events to attend?
So you didn't get to go to Memphis last year, right?
No, I did not.
Right. So for me, it's I loved having Worlds in Memphis.
Okay.
So like Origins is awesome, Gen Con is awesome, but when we go to those, it's all Heroclix all the time, most of the time for us. Very, very little of the time do I get to enjoy the rest of the convention. So when Worlds is in Memphis, it's all HeroClix all the time, but I'm not spending all this extra money to attend a convention that I don't get to see. So if you count Worlds in Memphis as a convention, then I like that. But Origins and Gen Con are just super great events to attend.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No. Even like when I was at Worlds in when I was at PAX Unplugged, right? That was my only major event. But me and my brother, we went together, and we kind of skipped most of the BRs on Sunday, and I went and I won a Connect 4 tournament.
Oh wow! Yeah.
But yeah, we just explored the rest of the convention because it's pretty cool to we wanted to just get a feel for that and like enjoy the convention, but we it's tough because you want to play HeroClix 24/7 all the time, but then you end up traveling and you want to also enjoy everything else that's there,
Right.
So I totally get that.
Right. Yeah. So Origins is really great. It's downtown Columbus, and there's a lot of great places to eat around there and just have a good time. But yeah, I mean, for most of the days are full of HeroClix. Now Sam gets away and does other things during other times, but I don't.
Dale and them were like, I'm gonna play BRs for 17 hours straight. I'm like, I'm gonna go do other things. Like, I want to go play some other board games, and I go across the street to the marketplace to eat. But I particularly like, my favorite is Gen Con. I know Gen Con's a lot bigger and it's harder to get into a lot of the events, but just the overall size and like, you can just literally not play a game and just walk around for 12 hours and have fun. Just seeing people and seeing the different games. And I think I didn't get to go to Gen Con last year, but they had a lot more HeroClix events there. So that's kind of cool to see that they're bringing that back to Gen Con. Sad that they canceled it.
Are you guys big comic book fans, or?
I'm not that much.
So HeroClix drives my comic book reading now. So whenever I played Starro, I went out and got a bunch of Starro comics and read up on those. And he hasn't been in a lot of comics, and even so less. There's a lot less Unimind comics, but the Hawkeye comics or whatever, the Hawkeye Chase, I read those because of him.
Right.
So I that kind of fuels my reading. A few years ago, it was the Trinity of Sin when those were chases, and Trinity War, Flash. Those have been really good reads. So it's like why? And so what's cool about that is that WizKids does put a lot of effort into naming the powers, like all of those cool little titles of powers and things that they have. My favorite example of that is Chase Iron Man from Avengers Assemble, where he's kind of got like a big miniguns and stuff, and everyone thinks that's a Hulkbuster suit. And I did too until I read the comic. It was actually he was going down into a sewer to fight like a coven of witches, and he had a bunch of cameras and stuff in there. So one of his powers is called "Bring all the cameras to me." So that's actually a line from the comic, and a lot of people would just see that and say, "Oh, that's Tony being power hungry," or typical Tony Stark stuff. But it's actually he's in the middle of a battle and he's trying to find out where like all these witches are at, and it's like that's a really neat thing that the WizKids designers do to enhance our experience. So yeah, I'm a bigger comic book fan than I was before because of you.
Yeah, no, they do a lot of. I mean, I noticed that one of the best things I noticed out of the new JLU set was the Prime Batman because I mean, it was a great moment in the cartoon because I had never seen the cartoon, so once the set came out, I watched all of Justice League Unlimited. Right, I binged it,
Good.
and same thing.
Show.
I did the same thing for X-Men the animated series too because even though I had already seen that when I remember when I was a kid, I used to watch it, but I rewatched X-Men when that set came out. But with JLU, I mean, the great moment with Batman singing "I'm Blue," that song "I'm Blue," and on his card, first of all his powers are blue, and or most mainly, I don't know, I don't remember, but and then also his the names of the powers are the lyrics to the song that he was singing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was one of the best episodes of the entire series, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely. So, I mean, speaking of powers, so like, if you had to pick, like, not including like the typical powers that everybody likes, like hypersonic or like the pop powers like Prob, Outwit, and Perplex, or TK. Not including the more popular powers, like what would be your favorite power to use in the game?
So for me, Prob is always number one, and then for me, number two is always Sidestep.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Sidestep's great. Yeah. Sidestep
Yes.
is. I think Sidestep makes characters so much better than they are without Sidestep.
Correct. Yeah. It's just always useful. Double token, single token, whatever. You can almost always find a use for Sidestep. It's absolutely one of my favorite powers, and especially the 2x2s that get Sidestep, like Adam or the Giant Girls, or Starro. The amount of swing that you can get whenever that 2x2 carries someone from in front of it to behind it and takes the Sidestep 2 squares back. That's a 6 square swing. Essentially, however you look at it, could be 5, could be 4, but swinging a 2x2 from in front of them to behind them, swinging a character that way is just super, super great. I love Sidestep. Sign me up.
Yeah. How about you, Sam?
I'm more of just like shape change. That's one of my favorites, just because like when I play in person tournaments, like they'll be like, okay, I want to attack your so I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna hit shape change. I don't know why you're doing that, and they're like. And I'm just like, and then I always, like, if I'm playing with somebody fun,
you always hit the shape change, right? Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if I'm playing someone fun that, like, we can have fun with, and it's not, like, detrimental, like, top 2 or anything, I'll go ahead, they're like, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and attack your Hawkeye or something. And I know Hawkeye doesn't have shape change, but I would automatically just roll my dice cup. And it would be sitting in the middle of the map. And then I'll just, like, you just go ahead and decide what you're going to do, but that's my shape change roll. And it kind of messes with them a little bit. And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, you got to attack? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I hit it. And it can be like 3 minutes before they decide. So it's one of my favorite things to do. When I'm playing fun games, I'm not doing it at Worlds or anything like that. But
what do you think
I'll do it if I play PJ. Because PJ does it to me too.
Oh,
like
okay.
He likes to roll his like shape change or super senses before you even attack. So.
That's funny. I was thinking of other powers that I enjoy. I never really got into Barrier, but I know it's a great power. I just don't know how to use it as well as I should, or I don't use it as often as I should. Mind Control is a great power, and I think it's been getting better over time. Because they've at first it was really good before the rules changed. And then I feel like they nerfed it a little bit. And then now they're giving a lot of characters like Starro and Jason Wingard and Jean Grey, they're making it so that people with mind control have like uber mind control. Even like commons and uncommons, I've seen like what was the one? There's one Mesmero. Do you know that piece Mesmero, where he makes them walk off the ledge?
Right.
Like there's so
Yeah.
many special power mind controls out there. I think mind control is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my note on barrier that I always like to make sure people know is barrier teams are extremely. You're playing your own game. It's almost like your opponent doesn't exist if you're playing a super hard barrier team, and it is very mentally exhausting to play barrier all day. And you're not even necessarily interacting with your opponent that much.
Right.
Because if you make a mistake on barrier, typically your game's over. So you're playing a near perfect game on your side, and to do that for 10 to 14 hours, you might as well just start out with some Tylenol for the day. Barrier teams I've played, I think 2 or 3 of them, and it's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my Heroclix career.
We were speaking about we were talking about battle royals in when we were talking about the events and stuff like that, and how you wanted to go and just explore the event and explore the con. And what do you think about battle royals compared to like regular games? Do you enjoy battle royals or?
I do if I have a good group of people.
Yeah, it all depends on your pod.
Now, I don't know how to say this without being.
Well, there's guys at the battle royal tables that are there to make money.
Yes.
They're there to win the con, put it on eBay, get it on there early, make the most amount of profit, which is fine. There's no hate in the game. But if you're going in to play a battle royal at a big event to have fun, you gotta be in that mind. Your table has to have that mindset as well.
I'll tell you what, I have the most fun at a battle royale table is when we all 4 pull junk.
Yes.
When no one pulls anything good.
Because then there's no stakes, and it's just
it's literally just let's have some fun. But if like 2 people pull like a chase and this, or they pull like the super rare that just wipes the whole board, then it just turns into, well, I'm playing for maybe 3rd, and it just turns into, I don't know, like, and I've been on that end where I've pulled a chase and I'm just like, this is fun in the sense that I'm winning, but then also you have the biggest target on your back because everybody's like, well, I'm going to go after the 200-point chase, and whoever snipes it is going to win.
Well, I've also had the experience. I mean, when I was more of a newbie, right? And I was playing the battle royals, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm going to get something cool." Try to do my best. And I would either, maybe come in second, or and then it would pass to me where I had to pick something to take, and I had no idea what to take because I would ask them like, "Is this better than this?" or like, "Which one's good?" Like, and I didn't know what pieces to take,
And I think it just really comes down to who you're playing against or who you're at the pod, because there are some people out there that are just so, I don't want to use the word hateful, but they turn into a different person when they're sitting at a battle royale table, because they're just like, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to win so I can get the con LE. And whereas I'm just like, we pulled rares, guys, like, let's have some fun.
Right. Yeah.
And you guys simulate. How do you guys do sealed at home? You just buy new boosters and pop them open, or?
Yeah, we buy like 4.
Yeah, we'll do
4 to 6 boosters, and then we'll just bring them home, and then we shuffle on the table, and then he picks 3, I pick 3. Somehow he always picks the best 3.
Oh gosh.
So.
Then we'll just play a typical 300-point sealed game a little bit.
Like, I've actually done that where, like, if I get a case or a brick or something like that, I'll keep the pieces in the boosters. Mm-hmm. I did that with Rebirth. When I got Rebirth, I actually took all the boosters out, put them in Ziploc bags, and numbered them. And I keep them in a box. So I have all my Rebirth pieces in a sealed simulation, so that, if I ever want to play sealed, we just grab a couple bags and play it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
we've
now
done
whenever
that at the store with Jason stuff. Too.
Yeah, whenever we get towards a big event for Team Sealed for Worlds or Nationals, we make sure to watch all of as a team, make sure we watch all the unboxing videos we can, catalog all of our pools, so that we can get an idea of distribution and an idea of what comes in a booster. Oh, this is especially the rares, right? Like this is a Mesmero booster. This is a super rare Captain Marvel booster. This is what these boosters look like, so that we can get an idea of when we get to the event, we crack the booster. Okay, we know what we're getting. We know what we can start to put together there pretty quickly.
Yeah, because obviously we want to pull like super rares and stuff like that, but we also have to know the support pieces.
Yeah.
Of like who's got the perplexes, who's got the outlet, who's got the TAs that go with this piece, and so.
So how do you guys? I mean, I know you said before, Dan, that you practice like 20 hours a week on Heroclix as far as competitive, constructed, and but I mean, how do you guys prepare in general mentally for a Heroclix game, like either a competitive game, either sealed or constructed? Like how would you prepare, and like how do you avoid mistakes?
I make mistakes. Period.
Mistakes happen, so it comes down to I don't know. Have you watched The Last Dance yet?
The Last Dance. What's that?
The Michael Jordan.
Oh no, no! I want to. I haven't watched it. I watched a little bit of it though, but I haven't watched it.
So first of all, it's fantastic. Second of all, MJ says a quote that really resonated with me. Is that I'm not going to worry about a shot that I haven't missed yet, or a shot that I haven't taken yet. So it comes down to, you got to remove that worry from your mind. You've got to focus on what you can do, what is the cause and effect if you do these things, what's their retaliation ability, right? Well, how can they get you back if you do this, and being able to process that quickly. So you can't have this other worry in your mind. You have to really just and just breathe and just think about what's the best play for me, what can I do, let's get it done.
Yeah, I think that's really good.
The game is always adapting, because you can't really just be like, okay, I'm going to play the Uni team, and if I play against this team, these are my first 4 actions, because no matter if I sit across from Daniel or I sit across from like another person, Daniel knows my first, 3 moves. I know his first 3 moves. But I'll sit across from a rando person, and they completely move all their figures out into the middle of the map, and you're just like, it's like they throw you off. You're like, what am I supposed to do now?
Right.
Like, you can't prepare like that for Heroclix. So I've learned how to just mentally adapt to, every game's going to be different. It's not going to be the same for actions. It's going to be I had a guy completely come out and just in the middle of the map, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to shoot your pieces now. And I even asked the guy, I was like, are you sure you want to do that? He's like, yeah, it'll be fine. I'm like, okay.
He wasn't fine. He wasn't fine.
I shot his pieces, but
he wasn't
I don't. But that goes back to watching the online stuff and practicing online, and because I practice against Daniel and Jason and all the guys, and we know each other so much, and we're so competitive with each other that we'd rather go to a 0-0 loss than actually play the game. So
let someone else win.
Well, are there certain times? Because I mean, that's funny that you mentioned that. I've always had the issue. I mean, like me, I'm teaching my wife how to play as well,
yeah.
And she's just learning. And but she likes to be aggressive. She likes to move all her pieces out in the middle, and I told her that's not always a good idea,
Yeah.
And so I give her a little bit of advice there. But are there some times where you can be more aggressive in Heroclix, where you can move them out, move the pieces out? And I mean, I know positioning is so hard in this game, but I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to know when to hang back or when to move up.
Yeah.
Right. And so I mean, it comes down to what is your piece's ability, right? like to just take your Chase Widow as an example.
Right.
Right. You can move her out with some relatively safe, right, against a lot of teams, because she's got to be, quadruple tapped.
Right, and also you could keep her in stealth, and you could give her shape change.
Sure, right. So that's a relatively safe thing where you can maybe be a little bit more aggressive with that team, versus like a Jason Weingard team, right? If you just throw Jason out there and he misses shape change, poof, he's poofed away with 6 damage.
Right.
So, sometimes you can be a little bit more aggressive with your teams, a little sturdier versus a little bit more kind of finesse type beats.
I always tell Daniel and them that I always hate the first 2 actions of the game. I hate going first, and I always hate the first 2 actions, because it always turns into who wants to move first, but once we get past that first 2 actions, I'm totally game. Like, I'm like, here we go, let's play. But it's one of those, like, my heart palpitates, and I'm just like, oh gosh, what do I do? But because if you play the right person and you make that mistake, you will learn from it really fast. So, especially with high competition. So.
I do find it's like sometimes it's a game of chicken sometimes, where it's like who's going to move up first.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't know.
Yeah. It definitely does. In the higher competition, when I play casual, though, like if we play like our sealed events, I'm just like, well, who can carry who, and let's go to the middle and play.
You guys,
or in the case where we played, you learn after the game that Ultra Chase Captain Marvel can blow up blocking. So I actually did have a shot on your Widow at one point, and I didn't take it because I didn't know. So it goes down to practice, and so knowing your pieces is really important.
No, I know. I learned after that game that I should have been rolling shape change the entire time.
we both totally forgot that one. Yeah.
I think that just comes down to just patience with the game. You can't be like, there's teams that are like over aggressive, which I mean I like those teams, but also you have to be finesse with those teams, But it all comes down to patience.
Well, yeah, I remember I brought to a Winamap one time. I brought 3 super rare Wolverines and Moira and Hellion, right? And my plan was
a good piece.
My plan was to just triple TK all the Wolverines at you.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, and I played it wrong. I was too conservative with it. So the other guys were telling me, they're like, you should have just moved all your guys up and let one of them take a hit.
Yeah, sometimes you have to sacrifice a piece, and I think about that when I build my teams. I think about who's the piece that I can lose as a sacrificial lamb, if need be. Like who's that piece that if I lose, that I'm gonna be okay to protect my other piece. So.
Yeah, who's bait?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like to use that word, but.
Yeah. Sacrificial lamb's not much better.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm not. Okay.
All right, guys. So, thank you for talking with us on Coffee and Clicks. I think we had a really great Heroclix conversation.
Yeah.
And by the way, happy Memorial Day to everybody.
Yeah.
And Memorial Day weekend. I hope everybody has a great weekend. And I will. Don't forget, everybody at home, wake up and smell the clicks. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.